When Francis Ford Coppola calls action, it's not just the images that leave an impression, it's the music that lingers long after the credits roll. On Silver Screen Stuff, we're tuning in to the unforgettable soundtracks woven through his cinematic masterpieces, where a few haunting notes can tell you more than pages of dialogue ever could. Let's crank up those speakers and journey through musical moments as bold, and sometimes as troubled, as Coppola's iconic characters themselves. In the damp, dusky alleys of early 1970s Hollywood, a young director named Francis Ford Coppola wasn't just redefining cinema, he was reimagining how it should sound. Long before The Godfather's opening frame appeared on screen, Coppola obsessed over music, not just as background noise, but as a living, breathing character in his films. He believed that the right melody could say what 1,000 words never could. There's an untold tale behind Nino Rota's haunting waltz for The Godfather. Coppola secretly recycled Rota's obscure score from a forgotten Italian comedy, daringly transforming it into the mournful soul of the Corleone saga. When the Academy realized this, they controversially disqualified the theme from Oscar contention. By Coppola's own admission, he would sometimes play music on set to guide his actors' emotions in real time. During The Godfather's pivotal wedding scene, he blasted Sicilian folk songs through hidden speakers, letting tradition and tension blend seamlessly. For Apocalypse Now, Coppola took risks even more radical. Most directors select a composer and await the result. But here he partnered with his father Carmine Coppola and used synthesizers at a time when analog ruled Hollywood. Together, they created an anarchic sonic landscape that mirrored Kurtz's madness. The first notes of The End by the Doors slice through the jungle like a machete, not written for Apocalypse Now, but discovered by Coppola. One early morning after a sleepless night, he insisted it become the film's heartbeat, forever binding Vietnam War imagery to psychedelic rock. Put simply, these soundtracks didn't just support the movies. They captured existential dread and desperate longing in ways actors never could. Even now, researchers cite physiological studies showing audience heartbeats synchronizing with these carefully chosen rhythms during screenings. Whispered through Hollywood circles, Coppola once demanded silence in his editing suite for hours on end, just to let music echo against celluloid and see what images blossomed naturally in his mind's eye. It's not widely known, but for The Conversation, a paranoid thriller about surveillance gone awry, Coppola instructed composer David Shire to use only piano sounds, processed with magnetic tape manipulation to mimic eavesdropping distortions. This technique later inspired generations of electronic musicians. On nights when streets emptied after midnight, Coppola would listen to unfinished cues alone in his car near Golden Gate Park, test driving emotions in a rolling theater before final approval. One of cinema's great secrets, during one from the Heart's troubled production, Tom Waits recorded songs live on set while actors filmed, giving every note an electric, spontaneous texture that traditional scoring could never achieve. Few realize that legendary jazz trumpeter Chet Baker improvised intimately on Peggy Sue Got Married soundtrack at Coppola's request. This rare collaboration brought 1950s nostalgia into sharp focus with bittersweet solos that seemed to hover over every frame. Coppola is infamous for refusing temp tracks, the musical placeholders used by almost every director, insisting instead that every film moment must be scored from scratch or not at all. To him, borrowed music meant borrowed emotions. Every piece of soundtrack trivia reveals how Coppola treated his composers, not as hired hands but as co-authors. In youth-drenched films like The Outsiders and Rumble Fish, Stuart Copeland and Carmine Coppola conjured music that blurred lines between memory and myth. Despite critically mixed receptions for some later works, one consistent thread holds strong, iconic musical motifs arising seemingly out of nowhere to fill silences with meaning. Music in Coppola's films often hints at unseen stories, secret betrayals, or lost loves flickering beneath dialogue. If you enjoyed these silver screen secrets, don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie magic.